Did I sound like a radio announcer? Well, I hope you say no. I don't think I did. I sounded pretty much like me, don't you think? I sounded pretty much like I sound. Like right now, talking to you. Or if I'm on the phone. And if I've talked to you on the phone, then you know that I'm talking to you now the same way pretty much I talk to you when I talk to you on the phone. This is pretty much the way I am. I'm a little, hyper right now because I'm making these videos and it's a lot of work and I'm up to do it. I'm not normally this robust in my talking, but it's pretty much me. So when you make a message, you need to have it pretty much you. You don't want to sound like a radio announcer, and I don't think I did. If I sounded like a radio announcer, I wouldn't be getting 5 to 10% response, so I know I don't, okay? I had a member last summer join me, had me listen to his message, and I said, Dave, you sound like a radio announcer. He said, I am a radio announcer. I said, well, you need to stop being a radio announcer for this and just be yourself. Okay? Now, here's another reason why you need to have somebody listen to your message, and Dave is a good example. He lives in Providence, Rhode Island. I know Rhode Island. I lived there. I'm from New England originally. I went to school in Rhode Island, to college there, okay? And they have a very unusual accent. It's a combination of a Boston, New York accent. It's very unique to that area. His accent sounds more like a Boston accent. In his message, he used a word. And when I heard the message after it was done, I said, Dave, you're using a word that nobody has any idea what you're talking about who lives outside of 50 miles from where you live. He said, what are you talking about? I said, you used the word marketing. He said, what's wrong with that? I said, marketing? What if you're talking to somebody from Alabama or California? They're going to say, what the hell is marketing? Of course, anybody knows from that part of the country, marketing is marketing. That's not how they talk, okay? So he didn't even hear himself say marketing because that's how he talks. And he thinks that how he talks is how everybody else talks. We're all the same way, okay? So, it's another reason to have your sponsor listen to your message because you may have a certain inflection in your voice or vernacular, the way you use words, the way you speak, that is going to be difficult for somebody else to understand. Now, if you have an accent, like say a New Jersey accent or a Southern accent, don't worry about that. You don't have to try and be, brown paper bag here. You don't have to try and be like everybody else. That's not what's important. That's part of who you are. That's your charm. Okay? But there are certain words that you may say on a daily basis that somebody else across the country may not understand. Okay? Like people in Texas say, I'm fixing to do this. Well, that's pretty much indigenous to people that live in Texas. People that live in Vermont or North Dakota don't normally say, well, I'm fixing to go get a hamburger. They say, I'm going to go get a hamburger. But people in Texas say, I'm fixing to go get a hamburger. It's as normal to them as it is for somebody in Vermont to say, I'm going to go get a hamburger. Okay? So we all have these little different innuendos, these little different, idiosyncrasies rather, in the way that we talk and the way that we deliver our communications. And you shouldn't overthink it. I'm just saying this from the point of view, make sure you get your message listened to by your sponsor or somebody else in iBuzz Pro. Notice I said somebody else in iBuzz Pro. Who is voice broadcasting? Don't let your dog hear it or your cousin or your wife or your husband, because they're just going to say, oh yeah, that sounds great. They're not going to have an ear for what this is all about, and they might not want to say anything to you which would be constructive criticism. Okay? Whereas I certainly will, and your sponsor certainly will, because we know it's all about the money. Why spend money on something that, why put gas in a car that has a gas tank that leaks?